It might look like Europe, but this is Brazil, a side of the country most people never expect to find. I am Nachi, your Brazilian friend, and today I'm going to show you why Curitiba absolutely deserves a spot on your Brazil itinerary. Our first stop is already one of the Curitiba's most iconic landmarks, the Botanical Garden. The main greenhouse is a stunning iron and glass structure with a Victorian design, inspired by the gardens of London's Crystal Palace. The surrounding gardens and fountains make the whole place feel like a movie set. It honestly looks like it was lifted straight out of Europe and dropped into Brazil. The best time to visit is early in the morning, when the park is still quiet. The sunlight streaming through the greenhouse at that hour creates a perfect scene. The kind of photos that look like they belong on a postcard. One experience you absolutely can't skip is the train ride to the Morretes region. Lonely Planet named this one of the most beautiful train journeys in the world in their guide Amazing Train Journeys. The route departs from Curitiba's historic train station and winds down to the Paraná coast, passing through dense Atlantic rainforest, historic viaducts, and viewpoints that appear around the bend without warning. It's the kind of beauty that makes you put your phone down and just look out the window. You can take the standard 4-hour ride, but if you want the full, unforgettable experience, I'd recommend going to the complete package, 10 hours in the Litorina de Luxo category. In that category, the cars have leather seats and onboard service with drinks and snacks. When you arrive in the Morretes region, the tour operator's team will take you to lunch, already included in the package, where you try barreado, a meat dish slow-cooked for up to 24 hours in a clay pot, served with plantain and cassava flour. It's incredibly good, and there's nothing quite like it anywhere else in the world. You get to explore the town, and on the way back, you won't need to worry about finding an Uber. The package already includes a van that drops you off right at your hotel. You can also request a bilingual guide to walk you through the experience in your language, but make sure to arrange that in advance when you book. Now I need you to pay close attention. Brazil is one of the richest countries in the world for tourism. A tropical climate, warm and welcoming people, and on this channel we bring you the best local travel guides to help you make the most of everything this country has to offer. If you're ever planning a trip to Brazil, go ahead and subscribe so you never miss our best tips. Now let's talk about one of the most exclusive and unforgettable experiences in all of Brazil. There's a winery called Cave Colinas de Pedra that operates inside a decommissioned train tunnel. The natural temperature and humidity inside create the perfect environment for aging some of Brazil's finest sparkling wines. The winery is located in a nearby town called Piraquara. By car or Uber, it's about 45 to 60 minutes from downtown Curitiba, and the ride is absolutely worth it for what's waiting inside. The experience ranges from guided tastings with food pairings to food diners with a high-end tasting menu. Spots are limited and tend to sell out, so my strong recommendation is to book in advance. If you want the most cinematographer sunset in the city, Tanguá Park is the place to be. What you find there is a former quarry that's been completely transformed into a landscape park with a lake, waterfalls, and viewpoint that frames the city skyline in a way that looks like it was planned by a cinematographer. Grab a hot chocolate or a coffee from the park kiosk, around 5:30 and wait for the sky to turn orange. It will not disappoint. Still on the subject, for quarry turned into art, you have to see the Ópera de Arame. It's a theater built inside a former quarry made entirely of tubular metal, which is actually what its name means in Portuguese, Wire Opera House. The theater has glass walls that let the surrounding vegetation become part of the scenery. It's one of the most photographed auditoriums in Brazil, and even if you don't catch a show, the architecture alone is worth the visit. Now I'm going to tell you something that most travel guides completely overlook, and it's one of the most fascinating little details about the city. In Curitiba parks, you notice reddish patches on the rocks and trees. Those are lichens, organisms that can only survive in places with extremely low air pollution. It's a small detail, but it says a lot about the air quality here compared to the most major cities. The Oscar Niemeyer Museum is one of the most photographed buildings in Brazil. Can you guess why? Oscar Niemeyer was the genius behind iconic buildings of Brasília, Brazil's capital. In Curitiba, he left behind a masterpiece that challenges everything you think a museum can look like. The main building has a structure that resembles a giant eye rising from the ground, held up by a base that seems to almost float. That's why it's also known as the Museu do Olho, the Eye Museum. Inside, there are permanent and temporary exhibitions with world-class curation covering art, architecture, and design. I still have 4 more experiences to recommend, and I can't move on without talking a little about the food scene here. Curitiba has a dish that's officially registered as an intangible cultural heritage. And when you translate the name into English, it's called jaguar meat. Yes, you heard that right. In Portuguese, we call it carne de onça. But hold on, it's not what you're thinking. No jaguar is involved. It's actually an elegant dish, and it looks a lot like a French steak tartare. It's made with freshly ground quality beef, seasoned with blends of garlic, scallions, diced onion, lemon, and pepper. Serve it on a slice of rye bread. The difference is in the Brazilian seasoning, more aromatic and intense, completely different from the European version. At the upscale bars and restaurants in the city that serve this dish, the preparation follows strict quality standards using fresh ingredients. This is your chance to try the version that was born right here in southern Brazil and that you can only find here. And if you want to experience more traditional local cuisine, the Santa Felicidade neighborhood is an excellent choice. It's a neighborhood with strong Italian roots, and it's home to a restaurant that holds a Guinness World Record. Madaloso Restaurant is considered the largest restaurant in the Americas and the largest continuously operating restaurant in Latin America, with over 4,600 seats. That's right, 4,600 people seated and being served at the same time. The parking lot alone holds 1,000 cars. It's the size of a soccer field. The menu is Italian food with a southern Brazilian twist. Pastas, risottos, slow-roasted meats, and antipasto. Serve it in the rodízio style, similar to an all-you-can-eat format. Per person, expect to spend around $30, including drinks. Now I'm going to teach you a local word that will come in handy when you order food. It's called Vina. When you order a hot dog in Curitiba, the sausage is called Vina. It's a quirky local thing because everywhere else in Brazil we just call it salsicha. You will see Vina written on the menus, so when you are at a local snack bar and you want to order a hot dog, try saying hot dog com uma vina, por favor. The reaction you get is a look of approval, like they know you are not just another tourist passing through. One of the things I love it most about Curitiba is how easy it is to get around. In many cases, you can cross a good chunk of the city in 30 minutes. What's funny is that locals here think 30 minutes by car is far. But for someone who lives in São Paulo like me, that feels like magic. It's like trading the gridlock of Los Angeles for the flow of Salt Lake City. In Curitiba, you get that big city energy without the physical exhaustion. In practical terms, that means you can visit several different attractions in a single morning and still have plenty of energy left for lunch. And speaking of lunch, that easing of getting around is exactly what lets you explore incredible contrasts in a single day. You can have a hearty traditional meal at the iconic Madaloso restaurant and just minutes later shift completely to Curitiba's most refined address, the Batel neighborhood, with tree-lined streets, boutiques, galleries, and cafes with a personality all their own. That's also where you find Pátio Batel Shopping Mall, one of the most sophisticated dining destinations in the city. The mall embraces a fine dining concept with award-winning chefs, impressive interior architecture, highly attentive service, and wine lists that meet international standards. To wrap up our 10 experiences, the Feira do Largo da Ordem is something you can leave off your list. And here is why. It happens every Sunday in the city's historic center, with over 800 stalls blending arts and crafts, street food, antiques, live music, and that laid-back Sunday vibe that feels genuinely local. It's the perfect place to find a handmade gift with real Brazilian design. Nothing like generic airport souvenirs. But here is my tip for getting the most out of it. Arrive early, around 9 in the morning. That's the sweet spot. Not too much sun yet, and you can walk through the streets at your own pace before the crowds show up. Very few international travel channels recommend itineraries based on the perspective of actual locals. Curitiba is one of those destinations that isn't well known among foreign visitors to Brazil, but it delivers a truly unique experience. I'd love for you to subscribe to the channel to support the work we do here. Now you need to watch the video I made about São Paulo, with all the local tips and experiences I have to share with you. Click right here and I see you there. Bye bye!